it's Jen Suzuki, and I'm in the industry. I meet some of the greatest leaders out there, dealer execs, dealers, GMs, and I'm bringing them in the studio to talk to me about what's making their business pop, what's accelerating their growth. I'm sharing my own personal strategies for your sales teams, so I'm ready to get after it. Are you? Welcome back, listeners. I'm very excited. This has been a day that I've been looking forward to. I have Mario Murgado. He is the president and CEO of Murgado Automotive Group down in Miami. But by the way, he's expanded over the years. I don't even know if he remembers me, but I've been sitting in front of him across from his desk literally over 20 years ago in the early phase of my career. And I have actually followed this gentleman's progress behind the scenes for many, many, many years. And so this is why I'm so excited to bring Mario on today to share a little about his story. This guy is literally the American dream. I mean, I get so pumped about what you could achieve in America. 26 locations, 4 states. He's got 6 cities. He's growing. And let me just, without further ado, welcome, Mario. Thank you for joining.
Jen, thank you so much. Thank you for the warm welcome. It's great to see you. You haven't aged one bit. I've gone a little different, but you look great, and it's good to be here with you. And thank you for bringing me on this with you.
Yes. Well, people may not know your story, but I want to share a little of it and then maybe set it up. And I'd like to hear what you're willing to share. A lot of us, we work hard. A lot of us want bigger, more. And a lot of times I can see, because I work with so many different people in the dealerships, a lot of times I say, what can I lend to them that will help inspire them to be able to achieve their true potential? And it's never easy. It's a lot of blows we get thrown every day, a lot of curveballs, and a lot of times it can bring somebody down. And at your highest level of success, we all deal with a lot of ups and downs and pains and gains along the way. And so many of you may not know this, but Mario came over with his mother from Cuba. He had a young boy, 4 years old, I think, in the middle of the 60s during, a really important time in Cuba that really kind of rocked. This was called the Freedom Flights. And Mario, just like me, sold cars, just like many of you, sold cars for many years. And then he became the president of a dealership. And he worked so hard. The thing is that it's, 20 years in the business, he gets to buy his own store. And I'll let him, hopefully I didn't make any mistakes. I'll let him tell the story, but tell us a little about your history and tell us a little bit about where this passion comes from for the auto industry.
Sure. Thank you very much. And it's an honor and a pleasure here with you. And you can ask anything you want, and I want to be as open as I possibly can with you. So
appreciate that.
Let me just take you back just there. I came first alone, then my mom came quickly after that, and then my father arrived after that. I was blessed to have 2 wonderful foster parents who took care of me. That really the salt of the earth, very, very, very special. And I take back and I said, let me tell you, at that time when you're 4 years old, you turn 4. The fear you have is the first fear of, did you do something wrong as a kid because you're not with your parents anymore? So that's the first fear you have. Once you overcome that fear because you have people who love you, who are taking care of you, and they comfort you there, then you start realizing, hey, your childhood kind of goes away real quick, and you start seeing things in a different perspective. And the perspective that I saw was that you have to learn, you have to work hard, and you have to have discipline towards things. From there, my mother comes. A little after that, my father, within about 8 months, arrives here. This country was great to them. They asked my father, what did you do in Cuba? He was an architect in Cuba. He says, well, you got to go back to school. Well, he goes, well, I can't. I got to get a job because I got to feed him. At that time, they said, we have an incredible job for you, a great opportunity. It's in Alaska. I imagine coming from a Caribbean island going to Alaska, as they were just starting the pipeline. They were starting the pipeline in 67, 68. So at the head, he says he suffered with that decision, and we ended up in Chicago. In Chicago, we end up, which I think is a salt of this country. It's the Midwest, the values. Yes. It's Midwest nice. It's really, really special. But we ended in a place with the projects. We ended up in a place called Cabrini Green. If you look that up, they were so bad, these projects, they tore them down. But again, my father working, trying to see a better life, trying to do better things. We moved quickly out of there. We moved into north side of Chicago. On the north side of Chicago, we moved to a place called Kedzie and Logan.
Hmm.
I thought there's a show later on called The Jeffersons. We're moving on up. I thought that happened to me. I thought that happened to me there. But fast forward, I started in this business in 1981. I had the pleasure to work for, I would say to you, an American icon, Norman Braman, work at the
Hmm.
Braman organization,
Hmm.
start there as a salesperson, worked my way through it as sales, F&I manager, a sales manager, general manager, eventually becoming the managing partner and the president of the company. But a wonderful opportunity to be able to learn through his experiences, learn in his organization, and then to be able to have other things like NCM. I went to a 20 group where we
Okay.
were worst in the group, and then work our way up to become the best in the group, and all those things throughout there. Many different mentors, many different things. Then a selling system. I remember, APB that I had, Auto Profit Builders, and I worked with them, and I said, this is a great process. I said, if we can move a locomotive on a
Hmm.
track, why
Uh-huh.
can't we move sales in a track? Why can't we move a management? Why can't we have that? And through all these things, what are the common things that I would tell you very important is really at the end of the day, it's about having a personal discipline in your life and
Yeah.
then having intentional purpose. I think many times we set out that we want this or we set out that we want that, but we really don't define that and we really don't say intentionally, I'm going to go
Hmm.
after this and here's how
Hmm.
I'm going to go about it. And then the discipline, I always define it to our management team and to our sales staff and our associates in a very simplistic way. You have to do the things that you don't want to do, that you despise wanting to do, but you have to do them. And that's discipline when you do them. And if you address that in a great way and you do that in your life, I think great things will come. And then you got to have a fight inside you. And that fight is a fight that you got to have that says, hey, I can overcome adversities. I can
Hmm.
overcome challenges. There will always be those. And I'm going to fall down. And when you fall down, you got to get up, you got to shake it off, and you got to go there. And then you got to do post analysis on yourself. I always say
Oh.
your conscious should be your best friend because your conscious will tell you, here's the things I did wrong. Here's the things that I did right. Here's the things you got to look at. And in the quietness of the dark, in the quietness of the night, it's you get a chance to talk to yourself about that. And then I always say to people, I said, you live in the greatest country in the world where you
Yes.
hold excellence. And
Hmm.
I tell people all the time, we need as an organization and we need as a country to bring excellence every day when we wake up. It's a choice we have. Either we can cry, we can complain, we can act victim, or we bring excellence to it. And if we bring excellence and we couple that with hard work in this country, you can
Hmm.
win. And I promise you, all the bad stuff you hear, all the news you see out there, I would say to this, if America opened the doors, would they
Hmm.
swing out or they swing in? And I promise you, they'd be swinging in. We could
Yeah.
empty the world. That's how good this place is. That's how
Hmm.
special it is. Problem is that not enough of us are thinking about that today, but it really is.
Yeah, it's true because you've come from another country, plus you're dialed into so many other countries, and it's like, and I travel to a lot of countries, and I'm always reminded, how great it is here. You could fight hard, you could get kicked down, pick yourself back up in other countries, and they may not have the infrastructure to be able to propel you forward.
Yeah. Listen, in this country, you can do anything because if you
Yeah.
if you work hard enough, you can get good grades, you can get scholarships, you can borrow the money, you can do so
Yeah.
many things to get yourself the education you need to get to prepare you. And what does education give you? It gives you a discipline again. It gives you the
Yeah.
discipline to figure
Problem
things out.
solving.
It gives you the opportunities to say, hey, this is how I'm going to go about things.
Hmm.
And then I think this is a business that's a phenomenal business. Think about this business. I hire you. You don't need anything except a pen. And if you don't have a pen, I'll supply you with a pen. So think about a business that you can come in and that you can do so well and that you can give yourself almost a raise of 50% to 80% within 3 years. And why do I say that? Because if you take care of customers the right way, if you create the relationships,
Hmm.
when I started this business, it's about learning the product. It was about the meet and greet. It was
Hmm.
about the wooden trunk. It was about the walkarounds. And those are all
I
important.
agree.
This business today has changed a little
Connections.
more where it's all about relationships.
Yeah. I
And if
say
you
it all the
develop
time.
if you develop the relationships the right way and you hone those relationships and you further those relationships, boy, the world is open to you. I write a message to people on a daily basis. You'd be surprised how many times people reverse and write back to me on
Huh.
that same message I sent. Hey, listen, Maury, I'm thinking about this car because you want to be top of mind. I make it a point to say happy birthday to people that I know and I have their birthdays. I want to
Mm.
make sure that their holidays are always there. I want to make sure I'm old fashioned where I want to send a business card, a Christmas card to them. I want to
Mm.
send a Thanksgiving note to them. I want to send an
Yes.
Easter. I want to send. All these things are important in developing those relationships. And then I'm here to listen to people. I get people, if you go to my phone, I get people on my business card, my direct line in the office and my cell number.
Hmm.
It's that simple. And if you went to a card of mine and you went in the back, I listened to our philosophies listed on one piece real fast.
Let's
Have
hear
a
it.
vision, develop a plan, have good people, and execute and adapt. You
Mm.
do those things, you can win in this great industry, in this great business.
Yeah, these are really great pillars of a successful organization. And frankly, preach this all the time. I just love that you said this. For me, it's about connections, relationships. And a lot of times people don't realize what that is, because a lot of people like me entered the car business because I was starving. I had to survive. I built my survival skills off of not having and needing to survive. And a lot of times when you're in that mentality, you do whatever it takes to make that car deal. And I think that sometimes, we do embrace a lot of people out there. And we bring people, so I used to laugh and say, if you're breathing, you're hired, and the truth is that, we do hire a lot of people from a lot of different walks of life and a lot of different financial situations. But I bring this up because even today, we see people that struggle, and you want to race to the finish line. You want to forget about the fact that these are people just like you, and we have things in common. I got to dig a little bit harder. I got to find out more about my customer. I want to fight for loyalty, because if I have loyalty in the equation, which is all fundamentals of trust and confidence and making these connections and staying connected to people and having a genuine interest in them, remembering things about people, they're going to come back to me. They're going to tell their neighborhood. They're going to tell their community, and this is how we build a business today. And it may be tough at first, but, you have to plow through some of those setbacks and know that if you have a vision, and you stay committed to it and you're disciplined, as you mentioned, boom, I'm going to get there. It's just a matter of time. But if I forget about all the important steps about people, building relationships with people, then I just got a business based on numbers. And I'm going to have to continue to just keep doing the same thing over and over and over. I'm going to work harder in time, because I don't really have a book of business. What do you think about that?
It's very true. At the end of the day, I tell people, I said, do you want to be a thermostat, or do you want to be the thermometer? So do you want to be the one that measures the AC, or do you want to be a temperature, or do you want to set it? And how do you set it in our business? And if you want to set it in our business, it's very simple. I always tell people, when you come in there, how do you get a raise in 5 years? Well, if you just sold easily 10 cars a month, which is really a bare minimum, you should say that's way too low. You should be looking at 15, 20.
Yes.
But if you did that and you did a good job with your customers, you'll probably retain 60% of that. That means if you continue to 10 without ever improving, you got 6 more coming that you can do in 3 years from now.
Yeah.
If you work in a store that works at leasing, works at developing, works at financing people, you're going to be able to do that. In our business, we have folks that I love that don't take 3 years. In 18 months, they've doubled that business.
18 months.
In 18 months, they've doubled the business again. So you got people that started out today, they're doing 30 cars 3 years into the business, and they're making a great fortune. They're making a great living on it. They're able to provide for the family. They're making the American dream. They're buying their home. They're buying their first car. They're buying their second car. They're getting married. They're having children. Children are getting baptized, going to private school. You name it. They're doing all these things, which is beautiful. Our business does that for you.
Yes.
And our business is one of the most resilient business. If you take a look back and you said, what business existed that in 1941, when they stopped building cars, now mind you, we don't have cars anymore because we're in a war effort. And when we did that, we only lost 18% of dealers. Did you know that? Only 18% of dealers. So 82% existed and continued. Now, our business from there on, look what we've been able to develop. Look where we grow. We are pillars in our communities.
Yes.
We are part of the community. We're the fabric of the community. We're the tapestry of the community. And we do business with those that do business with us. That's what we do here. I have never bought anything outside of my community. I have never bought anything in another country. I buy everything here. Because why? Because I want to do business with those that do business with us. If you write in your business card, when you go to a shopping, when you go anywhere, when you get a bill, I have sold cars to people at Bell South. I have sold cars to people at Florida Power and Light. When I send my check, someone's gotten the check, gotten my business cards. I say thank you to them for what? For paying for my electricity bill, but I say thank you to them.
Wow.
The car, and I've sold. In my life, I've done things that people get surprised about, like that. It happens. I tell people, I said, a book you can't judge by its cover. I've seen a guy come in on a bicycle. Nobody wants to take that up. And I walk out buying 2 cars.
Mm.
I've had more multiple sales where someone's coming in the car for the wife or coming for the husband, but I've asked, hey, you deserve this for yourself. Why not get 2 cars today?
You got any
We never
kids?
thought about that. We don't want to do that, but you're making payments. Let me see what we can do for you.
Okay.
But if you never ask for the sale, you're never going to get it. So you got to learn how to ask for that sale, and you got to learn how to gain that trust and respect. And you have to be authentic. I
Mm.
tell people so many times today, what the world's yearning for is authenticity and
Yes.
transparency.
Agreed.
You deliver those two things, you're going to have it made.
Yeah. Advice for our service department. Same thing, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. The service department is gold. Service department really sell. You sell it the first time, they sell it for you the second,
That's
third, and
right.
fourth, and fifth after
Yes.
that. Your retention will come through there. The importance of your service advisor, the importance of your greeters there, the importance of your technicians. Make them feel part of this team. Make them feel a big part of this team. Make them feel understanding how they're your service managers, your service directors throughout, your parts, all of them play a vital role for yourself.
A lot of times service advisors, and so I'll just kind of preface this. I do a lot of training and coaching in stores, and a lot of times I get brought in by sales teams, but I've been doing more service than ever because people, I think, are starting to recognize, why aren't we spending more time with our service teams? These are really our biggest salespeople of the entire dealership. And a lot of what you mentioned really applies to advisors too. And I think a lot of times they don't actually know a lot of these things. We don't spend a lot of time training and educating on how to build relationships with people, how to connect with people. Everything happens so fast in the drive. They think, oh, it's just so transactional. We just got boom, 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 take the pictures, boom, send, get them out of here. We got to get the next person. So how do you slow it down? And how do you have meaningful relationships with people when your shop is so busy?
Well, listen, I think it first starts with the leadership there, and the leadership saying, listen, service is important. So I would say to yourself, how can you not look at something where you can make 80% margin versus what
Yeah.
you're making somewhere else at 10%
Facts.
margin? So you certainly want to look at that. How do you do in your parts department where you're making 45% margin and not take care of that? So that's number one. It's got to be important to the leader. It's got to be important to the general manager. And they're the first ones that have to do that. The second part about it is when you put the leader in there, he's also has to be someone that's proactive, someone that's looking to grow. Sometimes we would look for people who came just out of the technical world,
Yes.
and it's okay. But that person that's technical has got to be able to switch gears and say, hey, listen, I'm also in here in the people business. I'm also here in the retention business. I'm also here in the sales vision. So how do I do that? And I'll give you an example, something we did a few years back. We took a department, we took a service department that today is all females. Why is that? They're very detail oriented. They're very good. And as a service advisor, the entire service advisors in this store at the Buick GMC store in Miami are all females, and they rock. They rock. When other stores had a 20% increase, they were able to double the business. How did they double the business? And again, it's about the little things. It's the details they did. Maybe it's something like putting a bottle of water in someone when they're picking up their car that they put in there. Maybe it was something like putting a
Write a
flower
note.
that they did there. Maybe it's a note that they wrote on it,
Yeah.
a handwritten note. But the reality is they're very, very good at details. They're very good at talking. And then I'll share with you the male chauvinist part about it. I said, if you told me, Mario, this bill is going to be $250, I don't want to tell you I can't afford it. Even if I have to split it on 2 credit cards, okay, take care of it, Jen. Not a problem. If it's a guy, I say, are you crazy? I don't want to spend that kind of money. It's just different things. So but that's just one small part. And then the other part is really taking care of them. So I think way too often we take a look at what CSI is, but we really don't understand. I
Help
always
me
say
with it.
reverse engineer it.
Okay.
Forget what you're looking at the score there. Understand why they're asking for these things. So an active delivery. So we eliminated active deliveries problems, I would say 30 years ago. How do we do it? We got rid of the cashiers. I don't want to have cash anymore. I wanted the advisors to make sure that
Yes.
if I want the customer
They
to
had the exit.
understand exactly what went on their car, what did they do to their car, how do we do it?
Yes.
Then we said, hey, we wanted to eliminate the lines. Well, how do we do that? Well, the minute we had the opportunity to email you basically your invoice ahead of time, review it with you. And then through COVID, what do? We were able to do this today that you and I are doing. We're able to get on a camera. We're able to do a Zoom, or we're able to do Microsoft, or we're able to do anything. And we get on there and say, hey, listen, Jen, let me go over the bill with you. Let me ask this. And then, Jen, do you have any questions? No. Great. Well, I want to remind you that I got 2 more recommendations that I gave you here that you don't have to do today.
Yes.
So we believe your tires. When we check your tires, you got another 5,000-6,000 miles. So understand, put that on your tickler. Then I'm going to call you in about 5 months. I'm going to call you so we can bring you in and take care of that. So you offer truly a service. You truly recommended certain things. You didn't ask for a sale today on that. You didn't ask for money on it, but you were able to win that customer over because of trust and because of the way you deliver on it. And then if you told someone it's going to be ready at 4:15, have it at 4:15. One of the things we did a long time ago, get rid of some of the loaner cars, utilize Uber.
Mm-hmm.
If I told you, listen, come back, I'll see you in the afternoon. Well, the afternoon could be 12 o'clock, or it could be 4 o'clock, or it could be 4:50. But if I said to you, I have your car ready at 3:35, I got an Uber outside picking you up. I know that I have my app that you're gonna get here at 3:52. The car's washed, the car's clean, the car's ready, everything's buttoned up.
Mm-hmm.
You come in, there's no waste of time. And you love that because it doesn't happen like that anywhere else. My gosh, if you go to McDonald's, you're in line. Here, you're not going to be in line.
Yeah, you're very focused on client experience. You're very focused on making sure that people see and understand the value of your team members, of your dealership, your brand. You're very invested in the way that people feel when they encounter anyone in your organization. These are things that, for me, are core fundamentals in building relationships, maintaining clientele, building a business. You know, a lot of time, and look, these are little things, but frankly, I mean, these are things I preach all the time. We are so aligned. Okay. It's just, even just telling people what you did, you know, like you said, active delivery at the end. Let me just tell you as a summary, we had a factory trained technician today go over your car. One of our best guys, been with our company for 10 years. I always add a little extra because I want them to feel the personalization of it. There's a person in our community. There's a person that's been in our company for 10 years. I'm going to praise you. You know, plus you're an expert. I want to make sure you know we got experts on your car. So I'm going to add a little more oomph to it, but here's what we did, and just a heads up, here's what you can expect on the next visits. Here's the things that we didn't do, and here's why you want to take care of these on the next visit, because they don't understand why. They just think you're trying to sell them. It's the same thing in sales. You don't tell them why we doing it or what it's all about or what it entails, and you're just dropping a price on people. They're going to bounce. They're going to start thinking, you know, can I trust you? You know, but when you explain things to people, I say this all the time. So people say, I don't want to do all that, Jen. We're so busy. You can't be that busy that you can't sell, present. You know, you want to ensure that people understand why they're coming back to you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And so you've expanded over the years, a highly successful leader here. And any successful leader is going to face a lot of challenges along the way, especially when you're expanding your group. And you could share a little about how it's been for your expansion. But to be 26 stores, another one unloading this year, a little one releasing this year. Okay. That's a lot. And a lot of people are dealing with fast changes. And if there's one thing I know, everything that we do going forward has to embrace change. We want change. We have to look for change. We can't wait for change to happen in order to stay relevant and to stay current and to continue the success. And it's not just ours, it's everybody that works with us. So along the way, you've got some big challenges, and maybe you can share some of these challenges that that you've encountered, even expanding, and even kind of walk us through some of decision-making processes, how you confront, how you overcome these things as an organization with so many leaders, on your team. How do you get everybody on the same page? I know there's a lot to unpack in that.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that with you. I think you ask a very, 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 very big question and wide, but so I'll give you a few things that I think are important to touch upon. Look, I think you're only as good as your people. So the first thing I tell people, I said, make sure you have great people. And when I say great, the enemy of great is good. So if you just have good, they never want to be great. So you want to see how you can build people that are great. And then you want to find people that are in the right seat, but not only in the right seat, they're in the right bus, in the right seat. So they're not going this direction versus that direction. It's the direction you want to go. And then I tell people that said clearly for you is, what's your plan? What's your business plan that you have? What's your intentional? So a lot of things that you would think today happen quickly really never happen quickly. A lot of things that has happened to us are things that were planned since early on. In 2000, when we were going to open our first store, our Honda store we bought was selling 16 cars a month. Our Pontiac GMC was selling 6 cars a month. Today, this campus in downtown will deliver 10,000, 11,000 cars this year. So to go from that, and again, it's all about people. It's not me. I can only sell X. I can only service X. So it's building great teams around that.
Yes.
I mean, great leaders that are there. And at the end of the day, at our core, I always say, I never win until you win first. So our general manager, and I tell our general manager, it's your job that your sales managers feel like that. It's your job that your service managers like that. It's your job that your parts manager. And when they care about the people underneath them, so they win first, so then they can win, that's when you got that. And then the culture of the company is really important. And the culture is something you got to be working on all the time. And I tell people, I said, we live by 3 really simple rules. Is it ethical? Is it moral? Is it legal? So I think you got to be able to have a litmus test that those 3 things have got to be principal foundations that you have there. From there, you're going to develop the trust. From there, you're going to bring accountability. From there, you're going to have personal development. You continue. Let me give you a little bit of what we do. So I take every quarter, I have a general manager summit. A general managers that go to it. I have the controllers that go to it. I have the CFO that goes to it. I have the in-house counsel or the compliance officer that goes to it. I have the partners go to it. So it's a big thing for us. And I pick 4 locations every year. I've already picked out all the way to 2026 of locations we're going to go, things we're going to do. And some of them I'll have a speaker, and some of them I'll have an event that we had. Our most recent one, our second quarter one, was in Disney. So
Love it.
we brought them into Disney and create an environment and event for them that's really first class all the way through. It's much easier for me to tell you that I want first class level of experience for you if I show you that experience.
Love that.
I fly our people if I have to first class. I put them in the best hotels that they can stay at. I'll have them dine at the best places. At the end, I can save a little bit there, but that little extra that I spend comes back to you many times. The next thing I said, let's go to Disney and let's go to Disney Institute one day and let's have them come to us. And then I always tell you, I said, you got to put the energy and effort ahead of time. So you got to speak to the Disney Institute and go over what you're going to go over, why you're going to go over it, why is important, so they can emphasize the things that you're going to do and see the camaraderie come together. And when you have a diverse of having business in 4 states, and you have 26 stores, you have general managers that are just coming together, general managers that are learning from each other. But here's what I try to do. It's 16 days a year that I take out for them. So it's 4 meetings, 4 days each meeting that we do it. So it's building every quarter, layer among layer among layer among layer. You have 16 skins that layers of skins. So imagine that as you want to do it. Peeling the onion, same thing. So as you do that with them, what does it do for them? It builds the confidence. That's really what I want. It builds the trust. And then I do something else here that one of my partners, Alex, did. Is he says, let's put in a chat that I'm not on that chat. I'm not, and they're always asking, are you on it? I said, no. Are you hiding about it? I said, no. You know why? Everybody needs to have an escape valve. Everyone needs to be the pressure cooker. If it needs to be released a little bit, they got to have a place so they can talk among themselves. When I'm hiring someone, most of the time what I said, here's my resume. Here are my general managers. You can call them. You can talk to them. What you see is what you get. This is how we're going to be. This is what we want to do. And what we're going to drive, we're going to push you. We're going to push you. We're going to push you for excellence every single day. Because at the end of the day, you have a choice. And I want you to work at 100%.
Yeah.
You can get an A here, but an A for us is 100%. Or you can get anything else. But the rest, why settle for that? Let's go get for this. And if you do that and you do it hard, there's great opportunities for you. And there's greater opportunities for you to grow also in our organization. You can become a partner in our organization. We have those also as well. And I'm so proud of them. So proud. I have one in Stuart, Florida. Devin runs our Audi store. He was our first employee for that store. We built in 2013, and fast forward now to 2024. He's a general manager, and he's also the managing partner. And he started as a general manager, but that's how he did it. And like that, we have all throughout. So it's important for us. I have great people, and then I bring also to our meetings. I've been bringing now future leaders. So I bring a service manager that I think will be a general manager.
Yeah, that's right.
And I've invested in him in an NDA, or I've invested in having him in CM. So he goes to general manager school, general manager training. So we make an investment where he sees that it's a real investment that we're making. And then he gets to come. And guess what? Before he's ever a general manager, he is dealing at a level like that. So he can see himself, or she can see herself.
Of course.
I bring a future controller. So I bring an office manager or assistant controller to the meeting also, that one day she will be, and she'll run, and she'll be the controller for one of our organizations. And if you do those things for people and you make that investment in people,
nurture people,
it'll pay off. And there are times that you're going to get disappointed by people. There are going to be times that someone quits on you,
of course,
left you. And frankly, I always take it really personal. I said, where did I fail? So my first thing is that I always think I failed. What did I do wrong? What did I do? Because there's something, and I always believe there's always, no matter what, there's always something that's your fault. So I take it really personal, where I think, what did I do wrong? Where did I fail? Was it in my communication skills? Was it in my writing to them? Was it in my in talking to them? Was it not enough? Was it in coaching? Was it being too driven? Was it being too focused on things that were not?
Mm-hmm.
So I have to take accountability for those things, because those that's me. It's not
Yeah.
nobody else. It's me. And I want to learn from that, so I can avoid those things, because there's a huge expense that I take into building those individuals, into working with those people. And I truly give it my all. When I do those meetings, the preparations for those meetings are intense. The
Mm-hmm.
knowledge to go bring there, and then I bring speakers to them.
Right.
I've had Pompeo come and speak to them. Secretary of the State one time. I've had
Mm-hmm.
Gingrich,
Mm-hmm.
a former, that's there. I've had a Navy SEAL come
Yes.
and speak to them, and I do those things because I want them to see that there's other perspectives that are out there. I'm going to go visit McDonald's. I'm going to go visit Coca-Cola. I want to go visit American Airlines. Why different businesses, so they can see different things, so they can understand that their world is not the only world. So they can
Uh-huh.
understand they're not the first ones to have a problem or a challenge. Other people have had problems or
Love
challenges.
that.
But everyone has been able to overcome them, and we all overcome them in different ways. And I more importantly want them to understand that today's solutions may not be the solutions for tomorrow. Why?
Mm.
Because I want you to be prepared for change, and I want you to be able to run to change, run to it. I want
Yes.
you to embrace it.
Think it out.
Yeah, because if you embrace it, you're going to be way ahead of most people, because human tendency is one that doesn't want to run to change, doesn't want to embrace change, and I want you to embrace it.
Can I let me ask you something on those lines? Because if you are promoting this run to change, I think a lot of times it will help people to just see innovation. They'll see technology, they'll see things that can help their businesses become more efficient and be more productive in our processes. And as you mentioned, if there's one thing, we have to keep changing, and we know that that's inevitable. We know that that's never going to change. Change is never going to change. But if you are encouraging this, I imagine this is how you foster embracing new technologies, or fostering innovation, or fostering change and adapting to new ways, new tools, new people, new ways of operating.
Absolutely. Today we deal with one of the, there's really two big major
Okay.
systems that you work with. Either it's Reynolds or a CDK on it that you have.
Mhm.
And if you've been in the business like I've been 43 years, you see the ups and downs, you see the challenges, you think the problems, you think how they overcome, you see them sunset things that they shouldn't sunset, and vice versa. So do you say, hey, who are you looking at that you can take a look at? So if you said, here's somebody new, and I'll put a plug for them there, and it's Techion on
Yes.
it. And I said, whether I'm going to them or not going to them, whether I decide or don't decide, there's a lot of multiple reasons why we'll decide. There's from an expense, to cost, to challenge, to training, all these things that you're going to think about. How do you change your company?
Mhm.
But as you're going through this here, you got to be open to say, let me go explore this. Let me go take this. And you got to be one of the drivers. Luckily for me, I no longer need to be the guy that's pushing this like this, because the whole company is thinking that way. So you'll have younger people that are in your company. As we get a little older, we want to use our wisdom, but we're
Mhm.
not really at the forefront like other people. And I said, that's okay. And those individuals are at the forefront now, looking for ways to seek better alternatives, more
Yes.
efficient alternatives. And that's a great thing to see and watch. And you got to nurture that. You got to foster that. You got to water that so it continues to
Mhm.
grow. You'll have your CFO doing things. And I'm saying, what can we do electronically that can do certain things? Think about something as simple as creating the policy books for it. So today it's electronically, so it's set up for you, so you can have it on your intranet in the company. And can
Mhm.
you have a company out there that helps you set that up and do that better? And you would say today, yeah, we have that through compliance and this. No, that's really a policy for certain things that are done to protect you. Let's look at things that really are an effective approach. Why? Because I want, if Jen's with me and she's sitting in accounting and she's a booker and she wants to know a policy of this, and maybe the controller hasn't gone over it with her, or maybe the assistant controller didn't go over it with her. But Jenkins, she's a smart girl. So Jen's going to go out there online, go to the internet, go take a look at this and pull it up. Hey, my God, yeah, I can understand that, because that's really what I want. I want
Mhm.
people to utilize their minds. I want people to be able to function by themselves, to be able to move forward on it. We're still going to have an organization. We're still going to have things that are, hey, this is holistically how we have it, like you're built. But I want people to be individuals. They can also
Yeah. Yeah. So, do you do anything in your organization to nurture innovative strategies and to welcome them and to investigate? Is this right for our company?
Yeah, I think we do a lot of it, and we do a lot of it in two simple ways. Number one, we do want to operate as one company, but we still want to have a lot of freedom inside where each GM has a lot of autonomy to do certain things. And when we do that, that allows him to have that freedom with more people. So it can't be robotic. It can't be this. So I want to be more nimble than, let's say, a bigger company. I want to be more nimble than what a public might be. But I want to have a lot of things that the public might have. But I want to offer that part because I think that's what separates us a little bit from other people, that we can change quicker, that we can adapt quicker, that we can pivot quicker. I also want to say, hey, we're a family store. For many, many, many years till recently, there was never, except 2 days a month, that one of the three partners wasn't in the store. So we were always in the stores every Saturday, every Sunday, only 2 days a month that all three of us, one of us wasn't here. We picked 2 Sundays that we were all going to be off on those Sundays, but everything else was covered. That's a commitment that we've done for 20 plus years.
Wow.
Because that's how important was our business. For a long time, we put everything into our business because it's important to continuously make that investment. And that means personal sacrifices. That means maybe you can't move from your apartment that you live in. That means maybe you can't go buy that house you want to buy. That means maybe you can't change the car every year that you want. That means maybe you can't go take this trip. You got to take it different. But because if you do it for the long haul, what is it you want to create? What are you developing? What do you want to get to? That's important. But I go back to early something that I said to you, which is you got to have a business plan. I have a business plan that we put in 2001. I call it my rainbow vision. I said, you know what? When you see a rainbow, you think it's beautiful. But to get a rainbow, you got to have water and you got to have sunshine. So you're going to have rainy days. You're going to have sunny days. And you're going to have sunny days. And that was always my vision. And how do we get to that rainbow? Well, in that rainbow, I'm going up a mountain all the time. I was never getting to ride the mountain down. It's always uphill. Always got to be in a lower gear. And why? Because I got to push through things. No one's going to give you nothing. You got to go after it. You got to go after it. You got to want it. You want to develop the relationships. It's talking to people. It's reaching out to people. It's sending letters. It's sending emails. It's getting on the phone. It's having the conversation. It's meeting them in them places. I've always done those things. I've always felt that it was important to do those. It was going to the auto shows and running on press day from manufacturer to manufacturer, so you can have a 30-second and you can literally give a 10-second or 30-second elevator pitch to the executive there, just so I can have the permission, so I can have permission marketing, as I call it, so I can go right to you and that you would know who I was when you received a letter of mine or received an email from me.
These are wonderful, beautiful key strategies and solid sound advice to everybody that's listening. I actually felt like that was a great summary right there. Wow, you gave me just exactly what I expected. I just
That's very
really
nice.
love your perspective in business and life, people, relationships. A lot here today. Very inspiring. Congratulations, Mario, on your continued success and the things that you do for community and people and for the industry, and especially for taking time out today of your very, very, very busy schedule to share your insights with us. I mean, the whole idea with this podcast is to bring people like you, leaders in our industry that have been through it or going through it, that want it bad, success is it's a constant, uphill mountain climb. And I think it's real, and it's nice to hear from you too. And so thank you so much again for all your insights here today and sharing your time with us.
I thank you, and it's a pleasure, and it's great to talk to your fans and your basis listening to this. And at the end of the day, it's have great expectations of yourself, have great expectations of your people, and have great expectations of our business, because we work in the greatest business there is in the greatest country in the world with great opportunities that are awaiting us. God bless you. Have an incredible day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
If you like these episodes and my sales game techniques, you should snatch up our latest dealer education program I'm hosting. It's called Jen's Remote Classes, and it's a 1-hour, once-a-week class with me alongside other dealerships all pursuing the same end game to achieve top 10% status in your dealership. For more info, hit me up. All my contact info's in the show notes. I want to hear from you. And follow Dealer Talk with Jen Suzuki right now to get notified when episodes like this one drop. This is Jen on the podcast Dealer Talk with Jen Suzuki. See ya!